$2.5 million planning boost.
So this is a really exciting final step in the construction process.
Wallaceburg's hospital redevelopment moves closer to construction. Plus, the University of Windsor proposes a rare research site in Kingsville.
We call ourselves an outdoor or an open air research facility.
And facing a $50,000 fine, a company pleads guilty to an $80 million drug bust.
CTV News with Stefanie Masotti.
Good evening, and thank you for joining us on CTV Windsor and AM 800. The Wallaceburg Hospital redevelopment project is moving a step closer to reality. A new $2.5 million provincial planning grant will help push the project into its final design phase before construction can begin. CTV reporter Chris Campbell has more for us in the newsroom. Chris.
Yes, Stefanie. Officials say this funding marks a major milestone, but stops short of putting shovels in the ground. Instead, it clears the way for the final planning work needed before the project can go out to tender.
A major step forward for the Wallaceburg Hospital redevelopment project. A $2.5 million grant from the province will fund the final stage of planning, allowing Chatham-Kent Health Alliance to complete detailed designs and construction documents for its Sydenham campus.
This is the final one before we announce construction. So this is a really exciting final step in the construction process.
Officials say once that work is complete, it will be submitted to the province for approval before the project can go to tender.
I'm going to wait on the government for that approval. I'm going to say it's going to take about a year. And then we'll go out to tender.
The overall cost of the redevelopment is estimated at around $50 million. Local leaders say the project has been driven by strong community support from the start.
This is truly a jewel in the crown in Chatham-Kent, and it's a big step, and you know it's just moving things forward.
It was really a grassroots effort that made all this happen. You know, there was a time where we weren't sure if this facility was going to be here anymore. So to get this funding from the provincial government to keep this project going, keep this hospital in Wallaceburg for the long term, it means so much to everybody.
Fundraising efforts are also continuing, with millions already raised towards the foundation's goal.
The $7 million that we've raised so far is a testament to the love that the residents in this community have for their hospital.
It's not shovels in the ground, but with this new provincial funding, the Wallaceburg Hospital redevelopment is one step closer to construction and to a modernized facility for the community.
Once complete, the project will include a new emergency department, expanded diagnostic imaging, and additional inpatient services.
It's really going to be great to have this hospital brand new, and then we can look at the campus and what else we can add to the campus after that to make sure that we're serving the needs of the community.
Officials say the final planning documents could be submitted to the province as early as next month. For now, the project remains in a holding pattern, awaiting that final approval before construction can begin. Stefanie?
Okay, Chris Campbell with our top story. Thank you, Chris. Now, Windsor fire officials are investigating a $400,000 basement fire on Prince Road. The blaze started in the 1400 block just before midnight on Thursday. Officials say the cause remains under investigation. The top floor of the building includes residential space. 4 people have been displaced. No injuries were reported. A numbered company has been fined $50,000 following an $80 million drug bust in Leamington. CTV's Michelle Molesky joins me now with the details on this case. Michelle.
Yeah, Stefanie, this one dates back nearly 6 years to the fall of 2020. The OPP announced at the time a major dismantling of a cannabis grow-op. Today, the matter concluded with a fine, and charges stayed against more than a dozen people. Windsor's Superior Court of Justice hosted a virtual hearing Friday. The lawyer for a numbered company called 2732304 Ontario Limited pleaded guilty to unlawfully cultivating cannabis. Court learned on November 18, 2020, 89,000 live cannabis plants and 5,300 pounds of dried product were seized from a greenhouse on Mercia Road 3. Authorities estimate the cannabis was worth $80 million wholesale. At the time, the numbered company had a Health Canada license to grow just over 1,000 cannabis plants. They were busted with 55 times more than allowed when nearly 90,000 cannabis plants were seized by the OPP. 11 people were initially charged, followed by another 9 from subsequent search warrants. During Friday's hearing, all those charges were stayed, including those against Kai-Young Jin Woo, who court learned is the president and sole director of that numbered company. Her company, 2732304 Ontario Limited, has 14 days to pay the $50,000 fine. As this was a virtual hearing, I didn't have a chance or even opportunity to ask the federal prosecutor how an $80 million bust could result in only a $50,000 fine. Media Relations responded, however, to an email saying they didn't have the ability to comment on the case, but did say companies can be liable for criminal prosecution. They also couldn't say whether or not that numbered company remains in business today. Stefanie.
Okay, interesting. Michelle, thank you for this. Staying in Superior Court, a Leamington man pleaded guilty to drug trafficking and gun charges in a case police say was fueled partially by a plan to buy a pizza shop. Joseph Andari, a 36-year-old man from Leamington, pleading again guilty to 4 counts in Windsor Superior Court, including drug trafficking and possession of a firearm while on probation. OPP say during an October 11, 2024 bust, officers seized more than 1 kilo of cocaine with a street value of over $100,000, along with cash, jewelry, and a TV. A pre-sentencing report says Andari was trafficking in part to buy his uncle's pizza shop. He's set to be sentenced on June 5th, with the Crown seeking 6 years and the defense just over 4 years. Tragedy tonight in Sarnia. A 20-year-old man is dead and 2 others were hurt after gunfire at Lambton College's on-campus pub overnight. It's the city's first homicide of 2026. Police say 20-year-old Dan Nisbet of Sarnia died in hospital after being shot outside the Lion's Den pub on campus. 2 men with him were also shot and suffered non-life-threatening injuries. According to Lambton College, an event run by the Student Council was taking place at the pub. Police are not saying what the relationship between the potential suspects and the victims are.
There's all types of forensic evidence, the standard stuff you have probably heard about often, DNA, fingerprints. There'll be blood at the scene in any time there's a shooting of this nature.
Police are treating the investigation as a homicide with no arrests so far, adding they don't believe the college was specifically targeted. Classes were canceled today as the community processes the loss. $37,000 in U.S. cash was seized at the Windsor-Detroit tunnel. U.S. Customs and Border Protection officers say they were investigating a report of narcotics smuggling and pulled over a vehicle bound for Canada when they discovered the cash. Let's take a break now. Rain continues and warmer temperatures are on the way. CTV meteorologist Gary Archibald joins me now for a first look at the weather from the top of the Bell Building tonight. Gary.
Stefanie, I hope you're well. I hope all of us are well, and I'm excited about this huge surge of warm air that's coming our way. Now, today was seasonal. Yes, rainy this morning as forecast, but the satellite radar is indicating that a ridge of high pressure will start to build in. That cold front has swept through and is now moved well to our east and southeast. We are quiet for the most part tonight in terms of active weather. It will be a bit breezy and into tomorrow morning, but I think by the time most of us are up and around, Saturday is sunny and seasonal. Sunday is much warmer. So too Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, even Friday. I'll break down what you need to know temperature-wise and, of course, how much rain is coming on board. That's the caveat to this story. That's coming up shortly. For now, I'll send it back inside to you at the desk. Stefanie?
The University of Windsor is looking to team up with the town of Kingsville to open a specialized research facility studying human remains from death to discovery. And many residents are very curious about this unique proposal. In a wooded area like this in Kingsville, the University of Windsor wants to build a 2 to 3 acre facility to study what happens to human remains from the time of death to discovery, an area of research known as forensic taphonomy.
It's not an indoor building that people often think we're like a lab. We're not. We call ourselves an outdoor or an open air research facility.
Shari Forbes is the program chair of forensic science at the university. She will lead the research to recover and identify victim remains of missing persons, homicides, and mass disaster cases.
Identifying a victim can be very challenging, particularly if a bone or skeletal remains are discovered and there's just no context. But even understanding how long a person has been deceased, if they've been concealed, like in a shallow burial, or some other form such as in water.
The work can be vital for law enforcement. Investigations like the murder of Windsor's Sarnia Boulay, who was reported missing in May of 2023. Her body was found a week later in a wooded area near Huron Church Road.
Something like that is really out of the ordinary. It's innovative, that's for sure. There's not too many places in the world that have it, I understand.
He's right. There are only 13 of these types of forensic research facilities in the world. 10 are in the U.S., 1 in the Netherlands. The others are in Quebec and Australia, both previously headed by Forbes. The location of the Kingsville proposal will remain undisclosed to protect the privacy of families who donate remains for research.
I think that's a problem, especially for the neighboring people that live around it. They should have to disclose that.
Forbes adds the benefits won't solely be research-based. The facility will generate its own economic benefits.
We will attract students from all across Ontario and all across Canada, bringing researchers, their supervisors, and they will stay long term. I mean, they could stay days or weeks at a time.
The project could cost up to $1 million, paid for through university, provincial, and federal funds. And if approved by Kingsville Council, construction could begin sometime next year. Do you support the proposed forensic research facility in Kingsville to help with investigations of missing persons and disasters? Yes, no, or not sure? Go to our website to cast your vote, ctvnewswindsor.ca. Yesterday, we asked if you are worried about a homeless encampment might move into your neighborhood. Out of almost 700 responses, 52% say no. In other news, the mayor of Essex is calling for more transparency after reviewing new dog pound statistics. Mayor Sherry Bondi says she was surprised to learn Essex had the highest number of dogs impounded in 2025, along with the most dog days, driving up costs for the town. She also is raising concerns about animal welfare after 5 Essex dogs were euthanized, more than any other municipality in the regional system. Bondi is now asking for detailed data from Lakeshore on impoundments and euthanasia decisions as council considers possible changes to its dog pound contract. It's a move that has raised eyebrows across Chatham-Kent, but local officials say there is no need to worry. Enbridge Gas has purchased a large commercial property in London. The former Costco building on Wellington Road, just south of Highway 401, for about $25 million. The plan is to transform it into a long-term hub for London-based employees. In a statement to CTV News, the natural gas giant says the transition won't happen overnight. Instead, the next 2 to 3 years will be spent on planning, agriculture, architectural upgrades, and renovations before the site becomes a permanent home base. But the big question in Chatham, what does this mean for local jobs and the company's long-standing presence? Mayor Darren Caniff says he's already had that conversation and he's offering reassurance. In a statement Friday, Caniff says Enbridge will continue to be a strong partner and employer, adding that while some changes may be coming, the company has committed to maintaining a significant presence in the community. Caniff says he spoke directly with the company's CEO, who reaffirmed as recently as October of 2025 that Chatham remains an important part of Enbridge's future. The mayor also points to the company's deep roots. Enbridge has been a part of the Chatham community for more than a century. The chair of the Downtown Windsor Business Improvement Association is advocating to have Windsor's downtown mission move to another location. Chris McLeod plans to raise the issue during Monday's City Council meeting, as Council will be receiving an update on progress made by the Strengthen the Core Downtown Windsor Revitalization Plan. He says people can often be seen lingering around the property and along sidewalks near the site, and the location of the mission is one of the biggest issues they have to deal with.
I think it's a necessary service. I think they need to be doing what they do, but they can't be the first thing that everybody sees when they come into downtown and the last thing everybody sees when they leave.
In May of 2024, City Council approved a $3.2 million initiative focused on improving safety, cleanliness, and business growth in the core. 7 action items include a focus on addressing the impact of mental health, addiction, and homelessness on the downtown. Mayor Drew Dilkin says the homeless are members of our community, and we have to find a way to work with them.
These are complex issues that every city across our country, I dare to say across the continent, are dealing with today. So we're finding ways to deal with those. Having that structure and that operation on our main street is less than desirable, and we certainly have a shared interest to work with the mission, the DWBI, and all the partners to see that facility and those services relocated elsewhere.
There's a different kind of boom making headlines at Windsor Fire and Rescue Services, a baby boom. The department says 29 firefighters welcomed a total of 30 babies in the year 2025, including 1 set of twins, marking a big year for growing families within the service. That number represents about 12% of the department's members, now proud parents of what they're calling 30 new recruits. To celebrate, the department shared a special 2-generation team photo highlighting their growing family within the ranks. Now, do you have a story to share? Please text us at 10400. You can also send photos and video, and you might see it right here on air. Splashdown countdown still ahead on Windsor's News Leader. The crucial steps for Artemis's dramatic return to Earth. An alarming warning from an AI giant, a powerful new tool kept under wraps over fears it could trigger a catastrophic attack. Start your day with the latest local news. By signing up for our newsletter, you'll get direct local content straight from CTV Windsor to your inbox, including top stories, the forecast, and videos. You can sign up at ctvnewswindsor.ca. They are coming in hot. The crew of Artemis 2 is set to splash down off California tonight at 8:07 Eastern Time, ending a historic return to the moon. CTV's Joy Melvin is tracking the Orion capsule as the countdown continues.
With a wake-up song, now the riskiest part of this historic moon mission, re-entering Earth's atmosphere. It's the trickiest part of their ride home. Just ask the pilot, Victor Glover.
We have to get back, and riding a fireball through the atmosphere is profound as well.
To ride that fireball, a special coating on the bottom of the Orion capsule, protecting the astronauts from extreme heat. The last uncrewed mission didn't go so well, but NASA is confident Orion's modified heat shield and a new angle of re-entry will get them home safe.
Then they'll start to brush into the upper atmosphere, and it'll suddenly get heavier and heavier and heavier as they're being pushed from below.
The Artemis crew has traveled deeper into space than any other humans, giving us striking new celestial images of the moon and planet Earth. Reflecting on it all, Canada's Jeremy Hansen.
We live on a fragile planet in the vacuum in the void of space. Our purpose on the planet as humans is to find joy, to find the joy in lifting each other up by creating solutions together instead of destroying.
There were unforgettable moments. A moon crater named after Commander Reed Weissman's late wife.
It's a bright spot on the moon, and we would like to call it Carol.
talking to the Prime Minister.
Canadians are so proud of what you're doing.
The U.S. President.
Congratulations to everybody. I'll see you at the Oval Office.
Fixing a lunar loo.
We definitely have to fix some of the plumbing.
And chasing a floating Nutella jar.
Integrity systems are in good shape.
As they prepare to come back home.
I just want to look at my daughters, Ellie and Katie, and just say I love you.
Family and the world waits. Joy Melvin, CTV News, Washington.
Too risky for public use. That's what AI developer Anthropic says about its latest model. As CTV's Heather Wright reports, it's causing a major buzz in the AI world.
Energy grids, hospitals, banks. These are just some of the infrastructure experts say could easily be exploited by Cloud Mythos, a new AI model called Dangerous by the company that created it.
This is the kind of thing that should keep us up at night.
This week, Anthropic announced its latest AI model, one so powerful, the company says, that it can find vulnerabilities in virtually every major operating system and web browser, using relatively simple prompts. Anthropic says, given the rate of AI progress, it will not be long before such capabilities proliferate, potentially beyond actors who are committed to deploying them safely. The fallout for economies, public safety, and national security could be severe.
It's like using ChatGPT to be a hacker. And so, unfortunately, what that does is it means that our existing defenses are no longer sufficient.
While Anthropic is not releasing Cloud Mythos to the public, it is giving it to a select group of tech companies, part of what it's calling Project Glasswing, an initiative to help identify critical software vulnerabilities. While some have called Mythos AI doomsday, others caution Anthropic's announcement could be a savvy marketing strategy in the competitive race for AI dominance.
Many people would be right in saying that this is a little bit of hype, a little bit of press release.
Still, cybersecurity expert Claudio Popa says it's only a matter of time until Mythos or a different AI model with similar power becomes widely available.
We certainly need to acknowledge the capability of the tool, and we need to start preparing for such a time when there will be lots of AIs scouring the internet looking for vulnerabilities.
Experts say this announcement should serve as a wake-up call to organizations and governments to beef up their cybersecurity. Heather Wright, CTV News, Toronto.
Windsor's unemployment rate rose to 8.5% in March. That's up from 8% in February, according to Stats Canada. Across Canada, the economy added 14,000 jobs, holding the national unemployment rate steady at 6.7%. Job growth has led by service industries, while finance and real estate saw declines. Meanwhile, average hourly wages climbed 4.7% compared to last year, the fastest pace in a year and a half. The new data comes ahead of the Bank of Canada's next interest rate decision, that happening on April 29th. Meantime, rental prices in Windsor continue to fall, offering some relief for renters. A new report from rentals.ca and Urbanation shows the average asking rent in the area dropped just over $1,600 in March, nearly $400 below the national average. That marks the 18th straight month of declines, with rents down more than 5% compared to this time last year. A one-bedroom unit now averages just under $1,500, while a two-bedroom sits at almost $1,800, both down year over year. Experts say increased supply and lower demand are driving the trend, with landlords offering incentives to fill units. But while prices are easing, there caution rents are still not truly affordable, just less expensive than in recent years. Canada's main stock index was up on strengths in base metal and technology stocks. In Toronto, the TSX gained 218 points. In New York, the Dow fell 270, the Nasdaq added 80. The Canadian dollar was down 0.02 of a cent. On commodity markets, gold lost more than $30 an ounce and oil dropped to $130 a barrel. Coming up, the surprising health benefit of getting married.
It's the return of our $15,000 Backyard Refresh, powered by Planscape Windsor. Head to ctvwindsor.ca and upload a photo of your backyard. We're choosing one deserving viewer to win a $15,000 custom landscaping or maintenance package from Planscape Windsor. Get out your cameras right away.
Discussion here at Windsor City Hall.
Windsor's top stories.
A major project is about to get underway.
Breaking news alerts.
Severe weather is a possibility.
And watch live.
Good evening, and thank you for joining us.
Download the CTV News app.
A cloudy, gray day. Gary joins me again for an extended look at the weather.
That's a view of me walking to work in the rain. It's been an interesting day. Computer problems aside, I welcome the rain this morning. It's helping the buds to blossom in the garden, and my dog is tracking mud into the house and enjoying it. Take a look at this, the almanac, just to give you an idea of the mild temperatures. Relatively speaking, we're in the double digits. Today was a seasonal day. Cloudy, though, and rainy as expected this morning, and scattered showers through the afternoon. The air quality is rated as a 2 right now, which is good. That's low, and the lower the number, the better the air quality. 10 degrees at the airport under cloudy conditions, 9 degrees in Chatham-Kent, so we're between about 48 and 50 degrees Fahrenheit. It remains relatively mild-ish and seasonal tonight into tomorrow. And then things ramp up. Across the entire country, we are warming up in the southern tier near the 49th parallel, from west to east. And this westerly and southwesterly flow is carrying that rain well to our east. That's good news, and it bodes well for clearing, I'd say, by about 9 or 10 a.m. Saturday morning tomorrow. Enjoy it because it will be sunny. The UV index will be high. Use that sunscreen. Wear your sunglasses, right? Protecting your skin, your eyes. And then we'll see the rains coming from the west. Those rains could be significant, and I'm calling for a rainy Sunday and a very warm one, much warmer than we're experiencing right now. Here's the breakdown for tonight. 8 degrees and a slight chance of showers through 10, and by midnight we're down to about 5. The winds will be picking up out of the north. At the surface, 20 sustained with gusts closer to 30 to 40. So we could be windy tomorrow morning, but again, by 9 or 10, we are sunny, mostly sunny for the rest of the day. A high of 11, that's seasonal, within a degree of our average for this time of the year. Showers for Sunday up to 23. 23 and cloudy, possibly rainy Monday. 23 on Tuesday, showers are possible. 21 on Wednesday, 23 on Thursday, both days about a 40% chance of rain. And then down to 19, but still above seasonal a week from now. There's the warm-up I promised you. It's coming. Your 7-day forecast courtesy of Enercare Siles.
A sign of improving health conditions across the region, masking rules are being relaxed at Erie Shores Healthcare. Hospital officials say declining respiratory illness activity has allowed them to scale back masking requirements. Under the updated policy, staff and physicians are no longer required to wear masks when they're within 2 meters of patients. Instead, masking decisions are being based on what's called a point-of-care risk assessment, meaning healthcare workers will evaluate each situation individually. Patients are asked to wear a mask when outside their bed space, and visitors who are feeling unwell are being urged to stay home. A new study published this week in the journal Neurology suggests improving your diet even later in life may lower your risk of dementia. Researchers found people who shifted to a high-quality, plant-rich diet had a reduced risk of developing Alzheimer's disease and other forms of dementia, even when those changes were made in their late 50s and 60s. Now, over a decade, participants who cut back on unhealthy foods saw about an 11% drop in risk for dementia. But researchers stress not all plant-based diets offer the same benefits. Diets high in refined grains, added sugars, and ultra-processed foods were actually linked to a higher risk of cognitive decline. And another new study is pointing to a surprising possible health benefit of tying the knot, a lower risk of developing cancer. Research published in the journal Cancer Research Communications found women who have never been married face an 83% higher risk, while unmarried men have a 68% higher risk as compared to their married counterparts. Researchers say the difference may come down to lifestyle and support. Those who are married are more likely to avoid risky behaviors like smoking and excessive drinking, and are also more likely to seek preventative health care and routine screenings. The study also notes that women who have never given birth may face a higher risk of ovarian cancer.
It's something that's never been done, never been seen before.
When we return, how a new curling league is rocking the country's sport landscape.
Sandy McDonald joins me again for our third installment this year of Get Gardening. Good to see you, sir. We are talking about indicators in our garden and what they tell us given the time of the season. So what are we looking at today?
This is the one that a lot of people know. It's forsythia, or actually more correctly called Forsythias. Try to get a couple here that are maybe not as damaged by as a frost. They're a little bit cross damage on them. It's a plant that almost everyone knows, early blooming before the leaves come out, and it's a great indicator for the garden. When it comes into bloom, that's our time to apply our preventative herbicide to lawns. And this is a natural biological herbicide called corn gluten. And of course, you grow lots of corn in southwest Ontario, and the gluten is the protein part of it, and it acts as a natural weed and feed. So it's an interesting product. And if you're trying to rid crabgrass or from germination of new weeds in the lawn, the time to apply it is when forsythia is in bloom. And applied according to the directions, of course. It's safe for people and animals, and it will help to rid weeds from spreading. The weeds that are already present, so that perhaps dandelions, we're going to be seeing lots of those soon. I see lots of flowers on the ones that are close to buildings already, or the plantain. Any other lawn weeds that are perennial, that come up year to year, it will not control that. We'll probably need an iron-based spray to control those. And it's a little too cool now. It wouldn't take up that iron product at this time of year. So prevention is the key, and forsythia is the one that is an indicator plant for us.
All right. Sandy McDonald, thank you for your expertise. And that wraps it up for Get Gardening this week. We will see you for another installment next week.
Immigration officials have issued warnings to thousands of asylum seekers that their refugee claims may be invalidated under a new federal law. CTV's Judy Trin reports on why Canada may shut the door on a kidney donor who escaped war in Gaza.
Mohammed Al-Hindi first came to Canada in August 2023 to donate a kidney to his sister Gadir. After saving her life, he returned to Gaza just days before Hamas triggered a war. Al-Hindi was forced to flee with his young family.
You want to do all your best just to run.
They survived 6 months in a war zone, then crossed the Rafah border after paying the Egyptians nearly $25,000 in exit fees. After getting special visas for Palestinians with Canadian ties, they settled in London, Ontario.
Strengthening Canada's Immigration System and Borders Act.
When Bill C-12 passed in March, Al-Hindi was notified he may not qualify for asylum.
Because he did not make his refugee claim within the first year of coming to Canada, he's deemed ineligible to have his claim heard before a decision maker, and he is in limbo.
Under the new law, refugees have to submit a claim within 1 year of landing. Al-Hindi applied 7 months ago, but immigration officials count his arrival date as 25 months earlier when he came for his sister's transplant surgery. The letter states if he's deemed ineligible, he will face removal from Canada. The immigration minister says there are safeguards.
People will not be made to go back to a country where wars and conflicts like that are going on. But there are other processes that are happening.
But those other processes won't allow Al-Hindi to make his case in person. Instead, a border agent will decide based on online documentation. If considered ineligible, Al-Hindi fears losing health benefits, his work permit, and his future.
Not to punish me. It's not logic to get a refusal letter from the government because I were here for a humanitarian act.
There are more than 300,000 refugee applications in the system. The federal government says some of these claims are not legitimate. The new law could remove 30,000 people from the backlog. Judy Trin, CTV News, Ottawa.
The world's first professional curling league is about to become a reality. The appropriately named Rock League is hoping to capitalize on the recent Winter Olympics. The best curlers from a dozen countries will make up the first 6 teams. And as CTV's Adrian Gobriel tells us, fans can't wait.
A sport synonymous with Canadian culture is getting a professional push.
It's something that's never been done, never been seen before.
The Rock League marks a world first, a professional international association featuring 60 of the world's best curlers from a dozen different countries.
The new league has its sights set to rock the Canadian sports landscape. It involves 6 franchises, and it always helps when you have a Canadian curling legend involved. Hurry hard, hurry hard. John, I think your game with the broom is slipping slightly.
Well, I've been retired for 2 years. It's hard to help a heavy rock.
2-time Canadian Olympic gold medalist John Morris has joined the league as a strategic advisor, helping to clear a path for this historic endeavor.
We have 2 Canadian franchises. We have 2 European franchises. We have an Asian franchise, which is represented by Japanese, Korean, and Chinese, and there's a Kiwi in the league from New Zealand.
An American team rounds out the group of 6. Each squad has 10 players, 5 men and 5 women.
How important is that when it comes to growing the sport?
It's just so great for young girls to see, like, hey, you can grow up and you can curl on a stage like this, to give curling a chance to expand and to go to all different corners of the world and really show how great of a sport this is.
This week's preview season in Toronto is already giving the next generation a reason to cheer.
I do hope to see curling blow up in general, and I think the most recent Olympics really helped with that.
Canadian Brad Jacobs brought home the gold from the Milano Cortino Games. Now captain of the Shield Curling Club, he believes the league is essential to the sport's future.
But we have to do it right. It does feel integral.
So many Canadians were hanging on every rock during the Olympics. We saw the joy that you played the game with and your teammates. What would you want people to know about this game when they step on the ice and just how much fun it is?
Yeah, well, it's the ultimate team sport. You have nobody sitting on the bench at any point in time. Everyone is 25% responsible for 100% of the outcome. It's helped grow all of us as people.
The Rock League's inaugural season begins this January with stops in Utica, New York, Moose Jaw, Halifax, and Ottawa, already on ice. Adrian Gobriel, CTV News, Toronto.
This is your CTV Windsor Our Community Calendar. Get ready to let it go with Windsor Light Music Theater's presentation of Disney's Frozen the Musical. Tickets on sale now. See you next time on Our Community.
It's time to check in on what's happening now with Melanie Kentner. And Melanie, you have more for us on the spin-off benefits for a proposed forensic taphonomy facility in Kingsville.
That's right, Stephanie. So as we told you earlier, the facility would be just the 14th such research site in the world, and it would bring well-paying jobs for researchers and faculty, as well as students from far and wide.
I mean, because it's so unique, I'm already getting requests from students right across Canada saying, can I come next summer? Can I come for a period? Can I do a placement with you? And they bring their own funding from the university or from the government. And so we count those because these are people who may end up staying locally once they have the opportunity to see what we can offer.
We've got more details online at ctvnewswindsor.ca.
And we also have a story online, Melanie, an exciting funding announcement for the Kingsville Highland Games.
Yeah, that's right. So the Highland Games have received a $20,000 funding boost from the province. The grant will be used to advertise the 2026 games to the community. This year's events will feature tug-of-war competitions, sheep herding, and more. Looks like a great time. The games will take place on June 27th. And in our social spotlight, when you hear a surprise knock at your window.
This is wild turkeys knocking on our bedroom window.
So Jim Rivers in southern Alberta shared this video with CTV Calgary. He and his wife heard banging outside, and it was these two turkeys hammering on the basement window. They looked out and found another 7 hens, the whole flock of wild turkeys, just strolling around their property.
Look at that landscape where they live.
Beautiful.
That's absolutely gorgeous. Yeah, those are some big turkeys there. I would just remain inside.
Yeah.
Looking just for food.
I've seen some in Windsor, like along the Ganache, but definitely not that big.
No, not that big. If viewers at home have some video like this they want to send us, how can they do it?
Yeah, well, they should email us at newsnow@bellmedia.ca or text it to 10400.
And that's what's happening now. Thank you, Melanie. From espresso to art. One Canadian barista is turning lattes into masterpieces and taking his skills to the world stage. Things are warming up, Gary.
They are indeed. And this is good news for those who are, shall we say, fed up with any hints of snow or cold temperatures. Frost had that just a couple of days ago. Look at these temperatures. Our Enercare style 7-day forecast has some sunshine tomorrow, mostly beyond 10 a.m. through the afternoon. It should be good. A high of 11 degrees would be very normal for this time of the year. And then things ramp up temperature-wise, low 20s. That's the average, about 21, almost 22 degrees between Sunday and Friday next week. 23, followed by 23, 23, 21, 23, 19. Cloudy, showery, especially Sunday through to Thursday, but no one, I think, should complain about the temperatures.
As for temperatures, it will be colder in the hockey arenas. An exciting night tonight.
It'll be colder in there, but it's also going to be heating up because the Windsor Spitfires are starting their round 2 push tonight at home, hosting the Flint Firebirds. Puck drop is about to drop. Puck's about to drop at 7:05. So if you want to be there, I hope you're not watching this right now unless you're on your phone at the game. We'll let you know how it goes tonight at 11. And there also is a game on Sunday. Puck drop then is 4:05.
Okay, Travis, thank you. An Ontario barista has been recognized globally for his latte art. Now he's preparing to show off his skills at the World Latte Artist Championship. CTV's Corey Bard got a first-hand look at his creations.
For many, it's morning's top priority.
Could I get a medium coffee black, please? How important is coffee in your daily routine?
Oh, I don't wake up without the coffee.
It's mandatory. I need it to survive.
A function for some, art form for others.
Latte art is a way for me to express art in another kind of way.
This is Arthur Chu. He's a latte artist, and we aren't talking the paint-by-numbers variety either. His caffeinated creations have won him 2 Canadian Latte Art Championships. This foamy stag sealed his victory this year.
So this one is the background, which is a tree. And then the antler of the stag, his eye, his ear, his nose, his facial structure, his front legs, his back leg.
He traded in a business degree for the art world, a coffee mug, his chosen canvas.
Distributing the grinds gently.
Arthur's about to take his show on the road. Next stop, the 2027 World Latte Art Championships.
The animal that I'm going to feature on the world stage would be a tiger, a stag, and a timber wolf as well.
His designs are intricate, but he says success isn't complicated. Just outwork your competition.
In my day offs or even after shifts here, is that I practice at least 50 cups per day.
With hands this steady, he's clearly not sampling too many of his creations. 2 national titles makes you a big deal in the coffee community, and here at Markham's Hatch Coffee Roasters, customers frequently seek him out.
I do take requests, but then if you see a line here, I probably don't.
Corey Baird, CTV News, Markham.
This is really fun. He really seems to be enjoying it, and obviously he's talented at it.
We need to find a local place that does cool latte art. I don't know if you guys know anywhere. If you guys know anywhere and you can text us 10400, let us know where to go. Like, yeah, I've never had like a really cool design on my coffee like that.
I have seen some in the city, but not as intricate at that. Maybe we should start a competition.
Yeah, we need to have a local competition. And then put the winner up against him.
Sure.
Nice. We'll get them on air. Sounds like a plan. Okay, on behalf of our dedicated team here at CTV News Windsor, thank you for watching.
For updates throughout the evening, go to ctvnewswindsor.ca.
Gary and I will be back with your only late local newscast at 11.
Good night.
See you then.